Welcome back to the show. Today, we are diving into a world where a single click on a Google ad can cost as much as a high-end designer watch. We're talking about the cutthroat, high-stakes, and fascinatingly complex world of law firm digital marketing.
It really is the final boss level of digital marketing, Alex. If you can market a personal injury lawyer or a divorce firm effectively, you can market just about anything. The competition is fierce, the budgets are massive, and the rules of the game are constantly changing.
Exactly. We're basing today's deep dive on a comprehensive guide from the digital Cauldron about law firm marketing strategy. And I have to say, I was shocked by some of the numbers. Sam, before we get into the weeds, give us the why. Why is legal marketing so much more intense than, say, marketing a local bakery or even a software company?
It comes down to two things: lifetime value and urgency. When someone searches for a car accident lawyer near me, they aren't browsing. They have a high-value problem that needs an immediate solution. A single lead in the legal world could result in a settlement worth hundreds of thousands or even millions. That's why firms are willing to pay $200, $300, even $500 for one click on an ad. There's no room for error.
$500 for a click? I can't even wrap my head around that. If I'm a firm owner, I'd be terrified of someone just clicking that ad by mistake. So where do we even start? The guide mentions local SEO as the foundation. Is that still the king?
Absolutely. For most law firms, their storefront is the Google business profile. If you aren't in that map pack, those top 3 local results you see on your phone, you basically don't exist to the local market. But local SEO for lawyers isn't just about putting your address on a map. It's about geographic authority.
Wait, geographic authority? Explain that. Does Google just track where my office is?
Sort of, but it's deeper. Google looks at signals. Are you mentioned on local news sites? Do you have reviews from people in specific zip codes? Is your name, address, and phone number, what we call NAP, consistent across every single legal directory like Avo, Martindale-Hubbell, and Justia? If your office moved 2 years ago and your old address is still on a random directory, Google smells unreliability and drops your ranking.
So it's like a digital background check. If your story doesn't line up, you're out. Now, the guide also talks about LSAs. I've seen these Google screened check marks lately. Are those different from regular ads?
Huge difference. LSA stands for Local Services Ads. Those are the ones at the very, very top of the page. Unlike regular PPC, where you pay for a click, with LSAs, you pay per lead. You're paying when a potential client actually calls you. But the catch is the Google screened process. They do a background check on the firm, verify your bar license, and check your insurance. It builds instant trust before the user even clicks.
That seems like a no-brainer then. Why would anyone do regular PPC if they can just do LSAs?
Because LSAs are a lottery based on proximity and reviews. You can't outspend everyone to be there all the time. Regular PPC, Google Ads, allows you to target specific, high-intent keywords that LSAs might miss. For example, if someone searches for what to do if my insurance company won't pay for my roof damage, an LSA might not show up, but a targeted search ad can. You need both to dominate the real estate of the search results page.
Okay, so we've got the ads, we've got the map, but what about the content? I feel like legal blogs are usually, well, a bit dry. Does anyone actually read the 5 steps of a slip and fall case?
They don't read them for fun, Alex. They read them because they're scared or confused. Content marketing in the legal space is about 2 things: EEAT and the long tail. EEAT stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Google has a higher standard for your money or your life topics, things like health and law. You can't just have an AI write a generic 300-word post and expect to rank. You need deep, authoritative content that actually answers the user's question.
Right, because if Google gives bad legal advice through its search results, that's a problem. So are we talking about white papers or videos?
Video is the massive growth lever right now. Think about it. Hiring a lawyer is a very personal, emotional decision. You are trusting this person with your future. Seeing a lawyer explain a concept on video creates a psychological parasocial bond. The user feels like they know you. If you have a video on your landing page, conversion rates often skyrocket. It moves the firm from being a faceless institution to a trusted advisor.
I've seen some lawyers on TikTok lately. Is that actually a viable strategy or just a midlife crisis on camera?
It's surprisingly viable, especially for practice areas like family law or criminal defense. It's about top-of-funnel awareness. You might not need a lawyer today, but if you've watched 3 months of a lawyer giving Know Your Rights tips, guess who you're calling when you get that traffic ticket or when a friend gets into a fender bender?
That makes sense. It's the modern version of the billboard. But let's talk about the dark side, the intake. You can spend $50,000 a month on ads, but if your receptionist doesn't pick up the phone, you're burning money. The guide mentions that intake is often where law firms fail. Why is that?
This is the leaky bucket syndrome. Law firms are notoriously bad at responding quickly. Studies show that if you don't respond to a digital lead within 5 minutes, your chances of qualifying that lead drop by something like 80%. Many firms let calls go to voicemail after 5 p.m. or on weekends, but accidents don't just happen during business hours. A modern marketing strategy requires a 24/7 intake process, whether that's a call center, an AI chatbot, or an automated scheduling system.
So it's not just a marketing problem, it's an operations problem. You have to build the machine to handle the demand. Looking ahead, what's the next big shift? Is AI going to change how people find lawyers?
AI is already changing search. With Google's Search Generative Experience, or SGE, the AI summarizes the answer at the top of the page. This means informational keywords, like how long is the statute of limitations in Florida, might not drive as much traffic to blogs anymore because the AI just answers it. Law firms will need to pivot to brand-focused marketing. They need people searching for the firm's name directly. That comes from being an authority in the community and having a massive volume of 5-star reviews.
It sounds like we're moving back to reputation is everything, just with a digital layer over it. If you were talking to a small firm owner who has a limited budget, where would you tell them to put their first dollar?
First dollar goes to local SEO and review management. You can't buy trust, but you can facilitate it. Get your Google business profile optimized and build a system to ask every happy client for a review. After that, look at LSAs because of the pay-per-lead model. Avoid broad PPC until you have the budget to really compete, because the big players will eat your lunch in the general search auctions.
That's such a solid roadmap. It's about building that foundation before you start trying to out-advertise the giants. This has been a masterclass, Sam. Before we wrap up, what's the one takeaway for our listeners who might be in the legal field?
The takeaway is this. Digital marketing for law firms is no longer an extra thing you do. It's the core of your business development. Stop looking at it as an expense and start looking at it as an investment in your firm's market share. If you aren't visible where people are searching, you're effectively giving those cases to your competitors.
Well said. If you want to dive deeper, check out the full law firm digital marketing guide over at the Digital Cauldron. It's got a lot more detail on technical SEO and conversion rate optimization that we couldn't even touch on today. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thanks for having me, Alex. See you next time.